welcome to today's episode of DownStream Outdoors. Today on DownStream Outdoors, we're going to do a little bit of trip planning. Today we're going to call this part 1 of trip planning. It's the first week of buck season. I figured it's an appropriate time for this to do this. Trip planning can be important whether you have multiple people going with you, or it can really be important if you're the only person going outdoors. While I love to spend time and share the outdoors experience with other people, it is not always possible because of scheduling conflicts and stuff like that. So whenever I'm going out by myself, I always try to have a plan and have somebody else know exactly where I should be in case accidents happen. Today we're going to talk about maps. Specifically, we're going to talk about topographical maps and how to use them for our trip planning. Okay, maps are available in all kinds of shapes and sizes, from your individual state park maps to your individual specific location maps to regional fishing guide maps down to our traditional topographical map. All these are done in paper product, but don't forget, we also have a great map right here on our phone. We're going to use this, and we're going to use our paper map today in conjunction to plan to be the first part of our trip planning video series. Cell phones. My cell phone in particular has Google Mapping on it. Google Mapping is great. You can do your traffic mapping, you can do terrain mapping, and you can even do satellite imaging. Okay, this is a great tool whenever it comes to trip planning. Another great tool is a GPS unit. Okay, we're not going to worry about GPS units today. We're going to focus on the cell phone and the paper maps today. GPS units are pretty self-explanatory, and they take care of themselves. Now, back to the cell phone. While we're still on the GPS unit, while both these technologies are great, they are technology, and technology is reliant on a couple things. Most importantly, power. If you run out of power and you are lost in the woods, and this is your only means of finding your way out, you're going to have a tough time of it. Okay. Yes, you can get, extra battery packs, you can get solar chargers. Nothing's 100% guaranteed. Nothing. You should always have backups to your backups to your backups. Okay? And that's where good old-fashioned paper maps come in. These things never run out of batteries. You can put them in a plastic Ziploc style bag, keep them dry. You can take pencils and even mark on them. I wouldn't use a pen. Me personally, I would never use a pen on my paper maps, but a pencil is acceptable. You can draw little light marks, erase them, your map's fine. Okay? We're going to bring you in a little bit closer. We're going to work on the cell phone mapping, and then we're going to compare it to what's on our paper map. Here's the topographical mapping features on my cell phone. They're an awesome tool. You can see we're kind of in our central PA location here, and they give you great overview of the area. The biggest downfall, beyond what we've already talked about, is as you draw yourself in closer, we're gonna focus on a fixed point that I'm pretty familiar with, so that we can use it in our paper mapping here. It's over here. As you draw closer, you can see that the topographical, it's nice. Like over here, it's showing you your state game lands, and it's got a nice topographical overview. But as we draw in, you can see we get really nice features in about this area. The closer we get, it'll even start to show us streams, but we've lost most of our topographical features in this map. You can still see some of it. You can see we're really stretching it. It's losing a lot of our features. But as long as we stay out of ways a little bit, you can see right about there is about a perfect view of the area, and that gives us a pretty good idea of where we're going. Now, if I were going in here by myself, what I would do is I would take a screenshot on my phone of this particular area. I would mark where I am parking, the direction I intend to travel, and I would send this to someone so that someone would know exactly where I'm at during this whole process. Alright, here's my paper contour map out of my bag. Okay, you'll see these little lines on here. These lines are called lines on contour. While they're not straight, what they are is actually level lines in the terrain. Okay, and you can see they kind of swirl all over the place in here, and those lines, if it's a connected line on this contour here, that means that is completely level all the way across. That is considered completely level, and it shows you what the terrain is going to be. The closer together your contour lines are, the steeper the embankment. The further away your contour lines are, the more flat level land you're going to find. Okay, and this is going to help you out a lot to determine what kind of terrain you're going to be expecting whenever you go into here. On this particular one here, okay, we would come in and I know exactly, like I said, I know exactly where we are. This is the main road coming in. If we parked here, we're looking to come in. We're going to cross a small stream, and to cross that small stream, it's a few degrees downhill, and then once we cross the stream, we slowly start going uphill. Now, there's no extreme altitude changes here. This is a very rolling, slow hill. If we were somewhere else, like we're going to move our contour map, you can just stay where you're at, and you can see these lines get way closer together. Whenever you have contour lines like this, that are all pushed together like this, you're going to have a really steep embankment. It's going to mean a lot harder to climb, but it depends on the situation. You may want this. Back to our point in case, we're looking at a much more level, flat area, and we have a specific purpose. Now, whenever I would mark this on my cell phone, I would mark this as such. I'm parking here, I'm walking in, and then I am expecting to go in a loop, meet back up with the stream, and walk back, follow it back to where the car is parked. Okay, I would mark that on my phone and send that to my safety person, my help, my friend. In this case, it would be Aaron. Okay, and I would also mark this on my map. Now, if we have this with us, and as long as we can take our compass and can read our compass, we can keep ourselves on track as long as we know, okay, we're coming in here, and I believe this here is something like northwest. I don't have my compass or my key with me right now, but this here is going to be something like northwest. We're going to go in until we meet another stream. Then we're going to follow that stream out here and follow it on around, and then we're going to follow the streams right back around, as long as we know what directions we need to go. And that's where we can come in with our pencil and make our markings that we're going northwest, and then we're going to go this direction and this direction, and we make all our markings. We can make them out here in the ledger in the white clean area, or we can make a couple down in here where if we need to. It becomes important to know points of navigation on the land as well. Like I said, here we have a stream and a stream, and they're both coming together at a point down here. This is going to be a very defined landmark that is not going to change really over time. So if we walk in, we cross one stream, until we cross the other stream, we haven't gotten lost. If we stay between the two streams, we should be safe. If we follow them down, if we would get lost, if we would hook up with one of our streams and follow it downstream, eventually we would find this point where they would connect, and then we could get back on track by pulling out our map and our compass and finding our way out of here.
Well, everybody, that's about it for this week's episode of Downstream Outdoors. Once again, this was just the nuts and bolts, very basics of trip planning. We're going to do a couple more parts on this. We're going to get a lot more in depth into it. Okay, I just wanted to get you familiar with the idea of a topographical map, and maybe get you to start thinking about looking at them a little bit closer, and maybe exploring your own land with a topographical map. That's one of the best ways to learn how to read a topographical map and learning how the contour works, is to get a piece of land that you are very familiar with yourself, and take that topographical map and start walking around and understanding why things are the way they are on the topographical map. Like I said, this could be a multi-part series. We're going to get more in-depth into the actual trip planning, because, like I said, this is the first week of deer season. But not only that, Aaron and I are getting ready for our Erie trip, so we're going to work on trip planning, and we're bringing you along for the ride. And until next time, keep your line wet and out of the trees.